Gear review. Gear I've used over and over again. I keep coming back to really cool pieces of kit for the modern protector, defender, provider, city, country. Just some pretty cool pieces of kit. That's what we're going to talk about today. Be advised, I take no sponsors, I take no bribes. None of these companies pay me to say this or sent me any of this stuff for free. So with that, let's get into today's topic. From Ecclesiastes. Here is what I have seen. It is good and fitting for one to eat and drink and to enjoy the good of all his labor in which he toils under the sun, all the days of his life which God gives him, for it is his heritage. As for every man to whom God has given riches and wealth, and given him power to eat of it, to receive his heritage, and rejoice in his labor, this is the gift of God. Whatever you have in life, remember, what do you have that you did not first receive? Every breath, anything you have is a gift from God. So let us remember that. Let's start off with a piece of kit that I recently just picked up. I lost the one that I used to have. I've tried many different ones, and I came back to this one. The little Victorinox Swiss Army knives. I've tried bigger ones. I don't carry those as much. The little small one, like the Victorinox Classic. Keep coming back to that for a backup EDC beat up kind of pocket knife. I am a big fan, if you've listened for any length of time, of carrying a decent sized fixed blade knife. Whether you're in the city or the country, something that you can protect yourself with and something you can skin a deer with. A good fixed blade knife is part of your EDC. I'm a big fan of that. I'm not saying this should be your only blade for EDC. I'm saying for a good backup blade and for the tools on it for as tiny as it is. And I've tried other small pocket blades and I don't like them as much. And I go back to something like the Victorinox Classic. Now the one I just got is not the Classic. This one is the Victorinox Rally. It's not as common as the Classic. I got it honestly because it was on sale. The difference is this one has an additional screwdriver and the Classic has the scissors. I don't use the scissors as much. And again, this was on sale. But I'm probably going to recommend the Victorinox Classic. They come in all kinds of colors and designs. But they have a good, small, useful blade for light tasks or for like a beat-up knife. Not as your only go-to blade. But it has that. It has a small file and screwdriver combo, which I like. And I don't know, they're just ingenious in the way Victorinox designed that little screwdriver file. Because it works in a lot of flatheads. It works in a lot of Phillips heads. I don't know how they do it, but they do. A lot of the models come with toothpicks and tweezers. Don't use a toothpick that much. But the tweezers actually can get used quite a bit. But it's just a really good small thing you put in your pocket and kind of forget about. If I'm going to adjust the optic on my handgun or something or sighting in a rifle, I've got a screwdriver in my pocket. Screw comes loose on my holster or whatever. Or how many times in your life are you like, oh, I need a screwdriver? And it's not a good screwdriver as good as like a purpose-built, let's say, snap-on screwdriver. But if it's light work and you just need a screwdriver for a quick task, it's really nice to have that. It's really nice to have a beat-up blade so you don't have to dull up your go-to defensive blade. And there's lots of little small knives. I just did an episode on a bunch of different small knives. But I think for utility, this is a great one. A great little multi-tool / beat-up blade for your pocket. They're not going to break the bank. They're good quality. It's just a good, easy thing to recommend. If you are into EDCing a handgun, which I recommend that you do, I just recommend that you do. That's between you and what you should be doing in life, but I recommend you carry a handgun, preferably a full-size fighting handgun, and a spare magazine. I like to carry my spare magazine, whether I'm on duty or off duty, on my belt in a magazine pouch. The best one that I have found, and I've used it over and over the years, and I've tried many different ones, and I keep coming back to it, is the Blue Force Gear mag pouch. It's very sleek. It's very minimalist. If you take the magazine out, it's basically like an elastic sleeve. pretty much any modern double stack magazine or 1911 single stack magazine, it will fit. They're not as fast as a competition mag pouch, but they're pretty fast. They're very secure, so if you take your pants off or something, you go to hang them up, your magazine's probably not falling out. And again, I've tried a bunch of different ones over the years, except for like competition or duty stuff. They're a really good go-to backup magazine pouch. They're also good for carrying a rat tourniquet if you want to do that, or get a double and have one magazine and one rat tourniquet. They also fit those pretty handily. The rat tourniquet is a good EDC tourniquet. I know, settle down, I know they're not as good as like a North American Rescue cat tourniquet. I understand that. They're just way easier to EDC, whether you're putting it in a pocket or in a mag pouch. Those are good tourniquets. Again, they're not as good as a cat, but they're better than improvising a tourniquet. Also, one that I have been using for a long time, either one of these are good, is a S.W.A.T. The S.W.A.T is good, and I find it fits really well into a back pocket, so you can have a tourniquet. And it's basically like a giant rubber band. So it also has some other utility there if you had to use it for another purpose. You could use it, in conjunction with some other stuff to make a pressure dressing if you know what you're doing. You could use it in conjunction with a poncho or something to make a hasty shelter. It's got a lot of other utility there. But the S.W.A.T, I advise you to carry a tourniquet and know how to use it. Either one of those, the rat tourniquet or the S.W.A.T. Again, know how to use it, get some training, T-Triple-C or Stop the Bleed or something like that. Get that training if you can. But as somebody that's had to use a tourniquet, it's really important that you have a tourniquet. Yes, you can make them, and I've done it, but it's better to have a tourniquet. Sunglasses. Some really good sunglasses are the spider wire fishing sunglasses. These are good all-around sunglasses. Are there better specific shooting sunglasses? Yes. Are there more Gucci high-end, fancy glasses? Yes. But the spider wire, if you don't know, is a type of fishing line, a brand of braided fishing line. But they make these glasses, and they're just a really good all-around sunglasses if they fit your head well. Caveat, right? Your head shape, they may be horrible. But I find them to be lightweight, pretty rugged. They have a really good color to the lenses. They're not as good a shooting glass as a pure yellow lens glass, which is kind of a go-to for shooting for those who know, like the yellow aviators or something. They're not as good a shooting glasses as that, but they're really good. They're like a bronze, yellow, green, kind of a mix between a yellow and an olive drab. They're a really good lens for all-around stuff. Also, as you might imagine, they're good for fishing. They're made for fishing. They're also not expensive. I just picked up another pair. I've had several. I break stuff quite a bit, and when my glasses get scratched, I tend to move on and get something else and keep them as a backup. Pretty particular about that. But they're under $20 at Walmart at the time of this recording. I just picked a pair up for $17. Oh, I think they used to be cheaper, but inflation. But under $20. So they're good glasses, and if you break them or lose them or they fall off your head when you're doing something, it's not the end of the world. Are they as good as a pair of good old Oakley M frames for shooting? No, they're not, but they are really good all-around glasses. They're really good tint color, lightweight, just good all-around glasses. Now, I think Spiderwire makes a couple of different designs. I'm talking about the ones that kind of look like the old Oakley half jackets, and they kind of like a mix between a just regular sunglasses and a shooting sunglass configuration. And they have the ones with the, again, kind of mix between an amber and an olive drab color in the lens. They're really good. The other ones probably are decent too, but those are my favorite. I'm on my third pair of them, and they are really good. These I haven't used nearly as long as some other stuff I'm talking about, but they are really good. I've used them several occasions. I've worn them for long periods of time. harped on a long time of good hearing protection. Instead of going out and dropping $1,000 on a suppressor and $200 on a tack stamp and making your gun giant and heavy and 6 inches longer than it needs to be. But these apply to far more things than just that. If you just are in a loud environment going to a concert, you can't stand the extra noise. You want to be able to hear conversations but be protected from really loud noises and have comfort. These are the Surefire Sonic Defenders. They are really good. They're very affordable compared to, and if I'm really shooting or hunting or something, I really like the Walker Bluetooth if I'm doing like tactical type stuff because I can run my comms through it and things like that. If I'm just going to wear stuff all day, I'm going to be walking around and I might shoot. These Sonic Defenders by Surefire, they are really, really good. They are really affordable. I don't want to say they're like on the MSRP on their website is $17.49, and they're really good. They, at least for me, are so comfortable. I kind of forget that I'm wearing them. I wear them for hours. I can hear normal conversations. I was out hunting doing a backwoods wilderness prairie dog hunt to get some practice in for the coming big game season. Spot and stalk hunting prairie dogs, a lot of fun. And walk and take a shot. They are really good for being able to hear the noise around you, hear where my dogs are. They're good in normal situations for hearing people talk, and they cancel out really loud noise. So they're really good for that. Again, Surefire Sonic Defenders. And I've gotten a lot of questions recently about my current EDC knife. When you see it in pictures and stuff like that, I might make a picture of my an EDC pocket dump on the thumbnail for this episode. I've tried a lot of EDC fixed blades over the years. I'm not saying this is the best one, but for me, it's really, really good. There are some other really good ones. I've talked about the White River in the past, Firecraft. But a really good mix, especially now where I'm doing, security contracting work again, and I go back and forth from city to, really remote areas. I'll literally carry it in the city, and I'll literally use it to butcher an animal, like we talked about. It's the Demco knives, and I always maybe mispronounce it, but it's ARMIGER. Alpha, Romeo, Mike, India, Golf, Echo, Romeo. Arminger 4. It's a really good, handy, fixed blade size knife. It's not very heavy. You can carry it all day. Not going to bother you. Put it on your belt. It's got a really good grippy rubber handle. It doesn't have finger grooves. I can't stand finger grooves on handguns, on knives. Just stop it. What is it, the 90s? Stop with the finger grooves. This does not have finger grooves. It is a good ergonomic handle, so whether I'm training with it as a fighting knife, blade forward hand, blade forward rear hand, blade backward rear hand, you get it. It's a really good ergonomic grip in a bunch of different configurations. It's got a really good sheath, which is kind of a deal breaker. I have some really good knives that I don't carry very often because they come with a bad sheath. It comes with a really good sheath. I like to take the top clip off of mine and just run it. It's got really good positive retention just with the lower part of the holster where it clips in. There's a bunch of different configurations. They have a spear point, they have a Tonto, and they have what I prefer for most things, a clip point blade. Think of it like a baby K-bar. The one that I have is in MagnaCut. They have a much more affordable one that's not in MagnaCut, and I don't even think they make the MagnaCut anymore. I think it was a limited run. I could be wrong about that. It's the Arminger 4. It comes in black and green. It may come in another color, and it comes in a bunch of different blade shapes, and it comes in some, just regular edges and serrated edges. But that Demco Arminger, it is a fantastic knife. And if I'm going out to, hunt elk in the wilderness and I have it, cool. If I'm in the city and it's in my EDC, cool. I like it. Again, I've got that little pocket knife for a beater knife. I keep this one sharp. But if you're more of an urbanite and you want a Tonto blade serrated, hey, they make it. But a lot of the stuff that I like about this particular make and model, besides the MagnaCut, will work well in a bunch of the different configurations. It's got a really, really good handle. It's got a really good sheath. And those things, a lot of people just focus on blade. But the sheath is really important if you're going to everyday carry it and not just like have it in a box in some display case or something. But if you're going to actually carry it and use it, the sheath is really important. Also, the handle is really important. Your hands are bloody, your hands are sweaty, you're just putting a lot of pressure on it. You want to train, knife fighting with a reverse hand, rearward grip. You can. It doesn't have finger grooves. It has a good shape so your hand will not slip up on the blade. It's a really good, well thought out, and fairly lightweight knife, and it's a good size. Again, for kind of my check the box for EDC stuff is, can I use it for defense if I have to? And can I skin a decent sized animal with it? Now you can skin a decent sized animal with little teeny blades, but I mean, not be severely handicapped. Like it would be a decent blade for the job. And this knife checks that box. I've been carrying it for a while. I have 2 of them. Been carrying them for a while because I liked it so much. I thought in case they stopped making it, I had better get another one. But it's a really, really good knife. Another thing I'm going to talk about. A really, really good EDC holster if you're carrying a decent sized handgun and you carry it strong side hip outside the waistband, like I think you should. But, it's not a shall. You do what you want. But the Black Scorpion, they're a brand you can look up. They're not crazy expensive. They're one of the best holsters I've found for like EDCing a decent sized handgun. They are just really good. The holster's not overly heavy. It has decent retention. It works well. I've used it for years and years now. They make it for popular handguns. I actually wish they made it for more models of handgun because I'd like to have other ones. It's a really, really good holster. It's not overbuilt. It's not underbuilt. It's kind of just right. Comes with either a blade tech or a similar locking system to a blade tech so I can take it on and off without taking my belt on and off. It's just a really, really good holster. Fast, positive retention. It's a really good everyday carry holster if you carry a man-sized handgun, meaning a full-size fighting handgun. Probably not using a holster like this if you're carrying an LCP or an LCR or something like that. If you have drunk the Glock Kool-Aid, I'm probably not convincing you otherwise on this podcast. The next one, whether you carry or not, it is a great shirt, and that's the Bone Tactical shirts. They make the Bone Tactical El Sicario Covert Concealed Carry shirt, and they make what I prefer, the Bone Tactical Combat shirt. And despite the names, they don't look overly tactical. They come in what I prefer because I'm not big on the big camo conspiracy of you have to have this Gucci camouflage pattern. It's kind of like if camouflage and tie-dye had a baby. Like it's camo, muted colors, it works well as camo, but it doesn't scream camo. It doesn't scream, look at me in my Gucci black multicam. Shoot me first. It just looks like kind of a hippie tie-dyer had a baby with a tactical guy. It's just kind of a muted, neutral kind of colors if you get the camo patterns. They have other ones. I also have just a really good looking tan shirt that is a good neutral color that's not camo at all. Come in long sleeve, they come in short sleeve. They're really well made, well thought out shirts. Hot weather, cold weather, I like them. They're 100% polyester, which I like. I don't like polyester for everything, but I really like it for this kind of thing. It wicks moisture away. I don't know that Bone Tactical knows that I exist. I'm not sponsored by them, but I have bought plenty of their shirts, and they're not exactly cheap, but I wear them all the time. I'm wearing one right now. Again, long sleeve, short sleeve. If you want one, I'll do both. Just get the long sleeve and roll it up like the old school Marine Corps uniform where you just roll up the sleeves. But they are just great shirts. Whether I'm hunting in the wilderness or going into the city, they're just fantastic shirts. And makes carrying a decent-sized handgun pretty easy. You just wear the shirt over it, untuck it, unbutton it, and you have it like that. It's a really, really good all-around shirt. I've used them for years. I've bought, I think, 4 of them. They are fantastic shirts. So that's going to be the last piece of gear that I recommend. Whether you carry a gun or not, you're just looking for a good outdoor shirt, a good in-the-sun, to not get sunburned shirt, fishing, hunting, man-about-town kind of shirt. They're really nice. So with that, going to start wrapping it up here, guys. A lot of the stuff I talked about, everything I talked about is going to cost you money. A lot of it's going to cost you more than $20. For a quarter of that, for $5, you can become a patron. I know stuff. We're addicted to stuff. But although it's intangible, hopefully you feel like you get, $5 a month worth of value out of the podcast. If you do, then consider becoming a patron. Not just to support the podcast, although I hope that's the primary reason. You get a lot of really cool insider-only content on there that you'll miss out if you're not. Now, you can give more, but the tiers, I think, start out at $5 on Patreon. Veteran-owned, small business, Christian values, without the blasphemy, without the dirty, nasty stuff that's in a lot of our today's culture. Again, if you want to support, consider becoming a patron. With that, I'm going to close out with the verse we opened with. It is good and fitting for one to eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor in which he toils under the sun, all the days of his life which God gives him, for it is his heritage. As for every man to whom God has given riches and wealth, and given him power to eat of it, to receive his heritage, and rejoice in his labor, this is the gift of God.